Seva kunje praveram ekhovardhane virasudharadha kundera sarande tatat seva pradayakam Guru Narayanakyam Tanvande Vinoda Pristakam Yat Padasmriti Matrena Davodhara Smriti Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada Shri Advaita Gadadhara Swasti Gaura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So first off, in my obeisance, countless times of my most worshipful Guru Pada Padma Para Arayata Tamastotar Shishma Bhaktivedanta Narayana Swami Maharaj, Shri Gurudev, Nikbaj, and the entire Rupanuga, Gaudiya Guru Varga, and all us Buddha devotees, please accept my Dandavat Pranams. So we've been discussing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and we'll continue for a short class today. We discussed Atma Tattva, Samkhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, and at the end of Buddhi Yoga, Krishna tells one important verse. Yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyati tarishyati tragantasi nirvedyam shrutavasya shrutasya cha. Krishna described the qualities of someone who is fixed in Buddhi Yoga. Pure intelligence in devotional service. And at the end of that description, because mostly the nature of that Bhakti Yogi is that he is aloof from flowery language written in the different Rajasic, Tamasic, and even Sattvic sastras, which describe how you can go to heaven and enjoy there, how you can enjoy different material benefits by doing Vedic yagyas and different activities. But Krishna told Arjuna to rise above this. Traigunya Vishaya Vedadis Traigunya Bhavardhana Nirdvanda Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. And then Krishna said this one very wonderful verse. Yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyati tarisyati tadagantasi nirvedam shrutavasya shrutasya cha. That when your mind passes through the forest of illusion, yada when, te, you, moha kalilam, this means a dark forest of illusion. This is deep, described in the Srimad Bhagavatam in great depth. What is the forest of illusion? And it gives different examples. What are the different animals, different anartas, different wild beasts. It's a very beautiful description of how the human being is wandering in the forest of illusion. Like Puranjana. Exactly. This is like the city of 9 gates. This is how he becomes trapped in the city of 9 gates. But there's another description about the forest. So anyhow, Krishna says, Yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyati tarisyati. When your buddhi, intelligence fixed in the soul and in dharma, passes through the forest of illusion, then Dragantasi nirvedyam shrutavasya shrutasya cha. At that point, you'll become indifferent to everything that has been heard or that has been spoken in this world. Everything that has been heard or actually will be heard or will be spoken means you'll be indifferent to anything from this world of past, present and future. Because we see people are so attached to worldly ideas. You can see even so-called transcendentalists spend all their time working for social causes, but not spiritual causes. You can see Param Gurudev describes in his defeating of Mayavad that we see, they claim that they are Mayavad, meaning, this whole world is false, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. They say the transcendental world is truth, this world is false, Jagat Mithya. But then after doing tapasya for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, then they start opening charity centers, like hospitals, social work. But this world is false. And they say, Daridra Narayan, let's serve the poor people. But how are they serving them? By further trapping them in the cycle of karma. If you want to serve them truly, then you open the hospital that Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada opened, the Gaudiya hospital. And there you ferry souls across the ocean of samsara one by one. You open the hospital that Prabhupada has opened, where he's giving this greatest medicine that is possible. What is that medicine Prabhupada gives? Mahaprasadam. Because when you're very sick, you need some kind of medicine that you can digest in that position. Not everyone can take Harikatha, they don't have taste for Harikatha. We see how many people come for prasadam, hundreds and hundreds every day. And how many come for Harikatha? Those who have greed for Harikatha, a few hundred come. But it said, Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyeta yavata matkata shravanado ya shraddhayavan najayate. That until you develop greed for Harikatha, you don't have the qualification to give up karma. Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyeta yavata. People who are so attached to material work don't have greed for Harikatha. And when they develop this greed for Harikatha, and again will hear Harikatha, then they will lose taste for material karma and give it up. So people don't have greed for Harikatha because they're so karma asakta, so attached to their karma. We see in the life of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, there was a village Sardar, leader, who started to hear Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's Harikatha. He was the most wonderful Bhagavat speaker we could imagine, since like Sukadeva Goswami. He was speaking the Bhagavatam, everyone would become entranced. And this village leader started hearing Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's Harikatha, and as a result, he lost all his attachments for family life. He stopped spending time at home. His wife became very disturbed. Oh, he's no longer spending time with the children, playing and working and focusing on our household life and maintaining the village. Now he's just going day and night to Harikatha. So she thought, let me put some false blame upon Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. And she called a young sweeper lady who was very attractive from another village so that her husband wouldn't recognize her. And she paid her some money and said, go to where they're speaking Harikatha, and at the end you should start. She told her what to do at the end. She told her something like that and gave her some money and said, if you're successful in your task, I will give you double. So this young lady went to the assembly where Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was giving Harikatha, and at the end of the Harikatha she stood up, started pulling at her hair, pulling at her cloth, beating her chest and calling out, crying out loudly. Everyone became shocked. You can imagine, hundreds of people in Harikatha, and then one person stands up in the middle and starts shouting and screaming and beating their chest. Everyone becomes very concerned. So they came to her and said, what happened? She said, oh, this bogus sadhu, he's giving such big lectures, thinks he's such a big sadhu, but every day he's been taunting me for a long time, teasing me, trying to get me to enjoy with him. By force he's enjoyed me. By force he's attacked me and enjoyed me, raped me. How is this a sadhu? How can you hear from him? We should pull him down from this post. This is the nature we were discussing yesterday in our Gita class with the boys. That I'll tell that story afterwards. Anyhow, to finish this story, so what happened is she made this big scene there, and then the village Sardar means like the chief of the village. That's such a person who's he's selected by the village men themselves. That person who's very loving to everyone, charismatic, who helps everyone, serves everyone, then they become the leader. So they called him forward because he was like the chief of the assembly there. They called him forward to speak with the lady. He came forward. He said, oh, what happened? First, calm yourself. Let's come to the side and discuss. So then she again gave her claims. Oh, he did this to me, did that to me. So he took her aside from the assembly and he said, look, tell the truth. Otherwise, you'll find out, what happens. I know. I've seen him. I've seen his nature. I know he's a bona fide sadhu. I know that you're just trying to trick us. So it said, oh, he didn't assume she was right. Shouldn't you give the assumption that maybe she has a right case? But it said when you hear Harikatha and you take shelter of a real sadhu, then if that Harikatha is flowing in your heart like transcendental nectar and awakening Krishna prema in your heart, then naturally you get to start to be able to see and recognize a real sadhu, because those divine qualities enter within you and give you divine vision. So he knew that it's not possible, that this is just some bogus, thing that someone has made to try to stop this Harikatha program. So he threatened her, he said, look, you tell the truth, otherwise I'll slap you. Very good. So she became afraid. She said, no, in this other village, she said the village name, there's one lady who gave me some money and he told me to do this. He said, which place, which village? And who was that lady? And she told the name, because this lady didn't know that he was her husband. The wife said, oh, this sadhu is actually very bogus, but anyhow, go and make this drama, make this case. So he said, okay, he told her, if you tell me the truth, I won't punish you. But tell me the truth. So she told him like that. So then he went back home. And what is the result? Once you've firmly developed taste for Harikatha, then you lose all taste for fruit of work, karma. So he had no taste for karma, and he thought, look, now this wife is not a dharma patni. One kind of wife is a dharma patni, who's always supporting the spiritual life of the family, like Suniti, the mother of Dhruva. She was always supporting spiritual life. Dharma patni is said to be the husband and the wife are each equal halves. They become like one body, two halves, and they do spiritual life together. Param Gurudev wrote in his letters that together, the husband and the wife, you should chant 1 lakh Harinam. You can chant 32, she can chant 32, and this is the same as 1 lakh Harinam. Because the husband and the wife are two halves. So this is Dharma Patni. Dharma Pati, Dharma Patni. And he said, in this way you can chant Harinam. If you can't chant 64 rounds yourself, then okay, you figure out, maybe she chants 48 and you chant 16, maybe you chant 36 and she chants, okay, you can figure it out, but together you can chant 1 lakh Harinam. This is then Dharma Patni. But she wasn't Dharma Patni, so she wasn't helping in his spiritual life, so what did he do? He went back home, you can imagine, she was watching from the window, he had a nice big house, because he was like a big town chief. She was watching out the window and she saw him storming back with a purpose. Walked into the house, went into the garage, grabbed some kerosene oil, poured the kerosene oil over the floor and on the walls. And she came running down, oh, husband, how are you? Everything is okay? Without saying a word, bas. Swaha. Bas, he threw the match on the floor and started this beautiful fire yajna. What is that fire yajna? Bas, yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyati tarasiti taragantasi nirvedyam shrutavesya. When your mind passes through the forest of illusion, you become indifferent to anything that has been heard or spoken of in this world, or will be heard or spoken of in this world, any material thing. You're completely indifferent to it. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays, Sangsara basive, Sangsara basive, Kanera basive, Deharog durajabe. When will I, Sangsara bukar? Sangsara bukar, Kanera basive. When will the bukar means the loud calling out of sangsar. Sangsar means material family life. Sangsara bukar, Kanera basive. When will these sounds not come in my ear? Oh daddy, oh mommy, or there's many varieties of sangsara bukar. Oh lover, oh beloved, or oh friend, come and play with me. Prabhupada, that's why Prabhupada says friend means fry and. But spiritual friendship is not like that. Spiritual friendship means friendship with Guru and Vaishnavas. It externally appears like ordinary friendship, lokik sambandhuvat. You can develop that friendship with Guru also. Lokik sambandhuvat. Lokik means it appears normal, ordinary, but it's such a deep friendship based on real sambandha that it can never be broken. That's why Gurudev's name is Bhakta Bandhav. Bandhav means friendship, but superlative friendship. There's different levels of friendship in Sastra, like Bandhu, Suhrid, but Mitra. But Bandhav means the strongest kind of friend. That friend who is like tied and bound with you. That no matter any problem that comes, any obstacle that comes, they will not leave you. That's the real friend. And so Gurudev is the friend of all the jivas, the friend of all the devotees. Ashmakam bhaktanam bandhavavayam. Krishna says in the Adi Puran, I am the friend of all my devotees. Ashmakam bandhava bhakta. Bhaktanam bandhavavayam. And the devotees are my dearmost friends. And they are the gurus of the world. This is from Adi Puran by Krishna. So therefore, this man, he lit fire to his home. wife and children, they all ran outside of the house crying, lamenting, oh, he's burning our house down. Complaining to the police. But he just walked away everything and became a sadhu, took shelter of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. No more need. If they are not supporting me in my spiritual life, then bas, no need. So Krishna says in the Gita, we should become, when we progress in spiritual life, more and more we will become indifferent to the news of this world. We think, oh, this is so important, this cause is so important. Oh no, you know, this we have to, I'm a victim of this oppressive group, and we need to fight against them and pull them down. Or, oh, I'm a victim of cultural Marxism, and we need to fight against the Marxists. This is also Maya. Both sides are Maya. Why are we attached to this world? Oh, I want to have, I don't even want to get into it, but there's so many like social material causes that people are thinking are the most important thing in this world. Whether right wing or left wing. Social justice warriors. We need to fight for this. But this is all attachment to Maya. What is the real news in this world? They're thinking that like they have a little cut on their hand and they want to fix that like little scratch. But they don't realize that that is a symptom of a like internal disease that is killing you, and you're only looking at fixing what is the very superficial external thing, but you're dying from an internal disease like cancer, and externally it's manifesting. So how do you cure the disease? Since we're thinking, oh, this is the news, that is the news, I need to deal with, I need to fix this problem, I need to fix that problem, and day and night we're studying, reading the news. What's going on here? What's going on there? What's going on there? What's going on in that place? What's going on in this place? But this is all Maya. Krishna says, there's the story of Yudhisthira when he was at Dharmakund. And the Yaksha, his father, Yamaraj, asked questions. He said, they were very thirsty. He said, I want to drink some water. He said, unless you answer my questions first, you'll die by drinking this water. So he said, okay, what are your questions? One of the questions was, what is the news? And if he was like a person nowadays, he would say, okay, I hope you have a lot of time. You can sit down and we'll start speaking about the news. Where do you want to start? You want to start with Russia, you want to start with the USA, you want to start with the DNC, the RNC, the GOP, you want to start with Indian politics, you want to start with the BJP, you know, I hope you have some time. It'll be longer than a Bhagavad Saptaha. Feel like a news Saptaha. This is Gramya Katha. And people think that's the news. Oh, you want to hear the news? Oh, very good. I've been reading and studying this my whole life. I have no time to learn one sloka, but I have time to meditate on Trump, you know, do Anik of Trump. Even I'm chanting Krishna Anik, but who's coming in my mind? This ghost of Trump. Oh, what did he do today? Oh, how did he say that? What did he treat yesterday? What did Putin say? What did Hillary say? What did Modi say? What did Gandhi say? Purdy therefore says these are ghosts, spirits that are possessing our mind, and we should kick them out. Become indifferent to all this so-called news. What is all this? This is all Maya. And you are welcoming this into your mind and heart with open arms. Come, 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 come. Through your smartphones. Oh, what did he say? What did he say? What did she say? This is all Maya. Why aren't we learning Krishna's news? Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said, we are trying to counteract that influence of Maya by being the messengers of the Vaikuntha Vani. We are the peons who are messengers of the news of Vaikuntha, the transcendental world beyond any material anxiety. Kunta means anxiety. And so that is Bhaktisiddhanta's mission. He said, go house to house, gari gari jao mange diksha, bolo Krishna, bhaja Krishna, guru Krishna shiksha. Go house to house and tell everyone, please, bolo Krishna, chant Krishna's names, bhaja Krishna, worship Krishna, and guru Krishna shiksha, learn Krishna's teachings, instructions. So therefore when the Yaksha Yamaraj asked Yudhisthira, what is the news? He didn't say, okay, sit down, let's heat up some tea and we can start our news katha. He said, no, what is the news in this world? Oh, everyone is being cooked in the frying pan of samsara. We have like, you know, big karai. The whole karai, this whole planet is a karai. Big wok. And all the living entities are here frying, like a tawa, you could say. Like a big roti tawa. And one after another, as soon as they're born, or even before that, in the womb, the cooking starts. Cooking everything starts. And was billions and billions of jivas are there, and they're being turned over and stirred by the spoons of the passing of day and night. And they're being cooked by the heat of the sun from above and underneath by the three taps, three kinds of heat in this world. Adhyatmika, Adhibodhika, and Adhidaivika. So many kinds of pain and misery come to us in this world, caused by our own karma. Our prarabdha karma is coming to us now, and therefore we have depression. This is Adhyatmika. Mental problems. We're always anxious and disturbed, and we can't relax. Even though, if we were just like trying to develop a little bit of peace, if we were just peaceful, we would see what is the problem actually. But we're always worried, always disturbed. And then depression, madness, there's so many kinds of struggle that we cause ourselves. Addiction to bad habits that cause so much pain to ourselves. No one else is causing us harm. We're causing harm to ourselves through so many kinds of bad habits, addictions, that we are wasting our life by being attached to. So adhibodhic, problems caused by other people. This person said this about me, this person fought against me, this person did this to harm me or my family or something. Adhibodhic, adhidaivik. Oh, why did God make us suffer with this hurricane, with this earthquake, with this tornado? Recently in Indonesia they had another earthquake and flood. In China sometimes they had these earthquakes where 10,000 people sometimes die. In California now they've had the worst wildfires in history, where even like thousands and thousands of acres of land and homes have been burnt down. And where? Like in Malibu, where the wealthiest people are living, all the Hollywood stars. Oprah, and all these A-list stars had to evacuate their homes because of the forest fire. So it said, where will you go? Palaya de Patne, Jamache Piche. Wherever you try to run and hide, Yamaraj is coming behind. Doesn't matter if you're a billionaire, Bill Gates, or a beggar, or a Hollywood star, or whatever you may be, you can't escape the claws of death. So this is the real news. And he said, we are being cooked by these fires, and the passing of the different seasons, and day and night, and our karma. And then he says, and what is the most wonderful thing? Yamaraj then asked, the most wonderful thing is that even though everyone is flying like moths into the blazing fire of death, destruction, still they think they're clinging to this world like when there's a hurricane, and the wind is blowing you very hard and you're like holding on to something, or like you see like this when you're in like a spaceship, like in the videos, like and there's a hole in the spaceship or something, and it's sucking you out. You're being sucked out into space, but you hold on to something like so tight. Everyone's trying to hold on to things in this world. Hold on to this situation, to that position, but you're being sucked into this fire. And so then you give up and you're just running into that. Why? Because you're so attracted to trying to hold on to these things in this world that those things which you're holding on to are actually what are killing you. These attachments. You're holding on to these attachments, and actually they are what is causing you so much pain and difficulty. So you're holding on to these things which cause you the most harm. That's why I said, Tyagat Shanti Nirantaram. If you want peace, Krishna says, give these things up. He said, everyone is going towards death. So therefore, instead of developing attachment to what is truth, Sat, and giving up what is Asat, false, they're more and more attached to what is false, thinking that we'll have this with us eternally. But they don't realize at any moment I could fall down dead. People, they slip on the stairs one day and bust done. It's not only like a car accident, murder, but if it is your time, then you can die from the most strange and simple circumstances. You walk in the bathroom and it's like greasy tile or something, but you slip back, your head falls on the sink ledge, and bus snaps open, bus finished, Haribol. So therefore, we should think, at any moment I may perish. It's actually, if I know when I'm going to die, like some people get very bad diseases and they know, okay, I have like 6 months. If they were like Parikshit Maharaj, then they would be happy. Okay, now at least I know and I have this much time and I'll do bhakti bhajan. But we don't know when we'll die exactly, so therefore we're so attached to this world, we're thinking, oh, I'll do bhajan later. I'll do bhajan later. Gurudev said this human form of life is so rare and precious, and only in this human form of life can you get you can get perfection of life. So therefore from very childhood, you should start following this Bhagavad Dharma. Don't wait. From childhood, follow Bhagavad Dharma. Don't think. Prahlad Maharaj said, don't think, oh, I'll do it when I'm older. That pumsa varsa sitam hyayus tadartam charitatmana nishpalam yadasoratriyam setandam pravitastama. Prahlad said that human lifespan is about 100 years, 100 years. And almost 40-50% of that we waste in sleep. Not only sleep, but we sleep and then, napping and just wasting our time in different kinds of recreation. And then we waste like 10 years in childhood playing games, playing with our friends, then we go to school, then we get married and we start working 20, 30, 40 years, taking care of our grandchildren, and we think, oh, when I'm old I'll do bhajan. But when you're old, your mind is so weak and feeble that you cannot focus on Krishna. Prabhuji told me once that if you focus on doing bhajan in your young age, then even in your old age you'll be very strong and sharp, because you won't have lost your potency. You see nowadays the youth, it's like they're so weak even when they're young men and they should be very strong. Already they're so weak because they can't stop their material sense addictions. Therefore they become like, it is said, like a young person who's always enjoying, taking drugs, taking alcohol, having sex day and night. Then what do they become? Like they become like a tree that is burned out from the inside. Like a lightning strikes a tree sometimes, and you can see from the inside the tree is hollow now and all burnt. And outside it still looks okay sometimes. You can see the external bark there, the trunk there, but within it's completely burnt. This is like what happens to people from childhood. They're enjoying. From now, you see like little kids in India, you see like the rich little boys, from 5, 6 years old, they're smoking bidi with their friends. And then this becomes a habit your whole life. You can't live without smoking bidis. And this is just giving you cancer. They don't know, I'm harming myself by doing this, but still I don't care. They have no intelligence. So therefore, we should try to, what can we do for the jivas who are lost in this world? It's very difficult to help them. Prabhuji said, therefore Prabhuji gives this medicine of Mahaprasadam, because I don't know how to speak, Kiritpu was still, so he just told me, I went at 8 and he said, okay. So anyhow, maybe 10 more minutes. So, then we were discussing this verse of the Bhagavatam, the verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Stita pragyasa kavasa samadhi sasya keshava stita diking pravasita kingasita prajitikim. I'll just tell this, I'll finish with this story. That we had this story about the lady who went and complained about Raghunath Bhatta Goswami and made this false accusation. And then the village chief said, okay, I won't harm you, you tell me the truth. And he went home and he burned his house to ash. So he acted like this because he had developed Sukriti and he had developed taste for Harigata. But if people don't have that good fortune, then what do? They become easily tricked. Especially in this age of Kali Yuga. Prabhuji likes to tell a story about the nature of this age of Kali. Because now Kali Maharaj is the king. Even though he doesn't have the qualities of a real Raj, but this is his age to be the king. So he has, why? Because Parikshit Maharaj gave him 4 places to stay. Parikshit Maharaj saw that he was cutting the legs of Dharma, the bull, of pure religion, and he had cut off 3 of the legs. The 4 legs of Dharma are Satya, Soch, Tapa, and Doya. Truth, Soch, cleanliness, Tapa, austerity, and Doya, compassion. He was cutting these legs. What is the leg? How do you cut the leg of mercy? By opening these slaughterhouses. Gurudev spoke when he would speak, like for example in the United Kingdom when he spoke, and there was different ambassadors there, different ministers were there, and he said, oh, you're like, also at the United Nations, when people, delegates, then he would say, you're speaking only about, compassion, helping others, but you don't have compassion for the animals. They are also they aren't citizens of this world. They are living in this world, they're not citizens. We see every year there are 92 billion animals slaughtered and over like 200 billion fish. harvested and killed. That means there's 7 billion humans, and so like 300 billion animals between the fish and mammals and birds. Actually birds, that doesn't even include birds. This is just like pigs and chickens and cows and goats, all these kinds of animals that are slaughtered. So it's like a few hundred billion. So like more than 20-30 times the human population every year is being killed. But this isn't a Holocaust. And we have no, they said you don't have compassion. They aren't citizens of this world. They said like, they say they don't have good intelligence. They're not, like they don't have, the Christians say they don't have a soul. But you are walking, they are walking. You are eating, they are eating. You are mating, they are mating. They are trying to defend themselves. You should judge by the symptoms, not just this speculation. One time there was different groups of Christians. Some were vegetarian. This is a long time ago. It is this story described. I think I've read about it. Anyhow, there was two groups. One group was like a vegetarian group. One group was a meat eater group, and they were living in the same area. So they were fighting all the time. So finally they decided, okay, we'll decide once and for all if we should be vegetarian or not. So they said, the meat eater said, okay, we'll have a assembly in this big church, and we'll discuss it there. And they said, because it was like a closed kind of town area, so they said, everyone who's on the side of the vegetarians and all of us will come together and have a discussion. So they set a time, okay, you come at 10 o'clock in the morning on this day. So everyone, they said, bring everyone, and we'll have like a vote, democratic discussion. Okay, now everyone wants to follow democracy. We'll have a democratic vote. We'll bring them all. They brought them all in. And then all the meat eaters didn't show up. Everyone was waiting, 10 o'clock, 10:30, they hadn't showed up. So then, once all the vegetarians were there, the meat eaters came on all sides, locked all the doors from the outside. All the windows were difficult to escape from. Locked all the doors up and lit it on fire. Got rid of them. We see in different Gospels, they preach about reincarnation and vegetarianism also. And they say, oh, Christ ate meat. Where they said, the word they used for meat, they wrote the Bible in Greek, and they used this word bromos, which means food. But later they translated it as meat. Because they want everyone to eat meat, because by eating meat, then they are cutting off the leg of Dharma. It said whenever you start like a religion in this world, and the religious founder leaves, then Kali tries to enter and take it over. So we see after Christ left, then Kali entered and tried to take it over, and established all the things that were the antithesis of Christ's teachings. About like how to be humble, how not to desire wealth, how not to serve material wealth. And we see, what are they doing? Oh, only serving wealth. Gurudev went once to Rome. And Gurudev was in Rome to give some Harikatha, and he was near the Vatican. They took him to the Vatican. And he saw some beautiful little calves. And Gurudev was, oh, beautiful calves, they're like Krishna's friends, And then he saw them being led somewhere. And he said, where are they going? Where are they going? And then one of the devotees said, oh, every day the Pope and the bishops and the cardinals, they like to eat veal or calf flesh. Because the baby calves have very soft flesh. And what do? They have such a process to kill them. Even when they're alive, they like put them in steamers, like we have a pressure cooker. They put them in steamers like this so that the flesh remains very soft and tender. And then they take that, they cook it up and they serve it fresh. They don't store the meat, buy it in the supermarket. They want fresh meat. And they're eating these calves. He said, you have no humanity. He said, Gurudev said that actually, you can read Gurudev's articles in the Bhagavad Patrika, and we translated some of these in Guru Darshan. Gurudev said, such people are worse than any kind of demon. Why? You have no compassion. You cannot see this creature as innocent. Just a little baby. Just born, and you've stolen it away from its mother, and you're killing it like this, and then eating it every day fresh. No compassion. He said such people are worse than animals. He said even animals have some compassion. Even animals, they will, if they're like a violent animal, then they can't go against their nature. This is their karma. And these violent animals, they were previously humans who had this violent nature. Like Swami Prabhupada would say, oh, your human body is not meant for eating meat. Krishna has arranged a body, a species, that you can indulge in that desire. Because this human body, if you look at it scientifically, we're like mammals. Not like carnivores, like herbivores. Our teeth, we don't have this carnivore teeth. They said this is not, and our digestive system is not meant for digesting meat. Therefore, most of the people who are getting cancer nowadays are getting it from meat eating. Because so many poisons are in the meat, and also we cannot digest it, so it rots in the stomach for so long. It's rotting and rotting and rotting because it takes a long time to digest it, that this is creating, this poison is entering the liver, the kidney, and ultimately creating cancer. But people won't openly announce this. If a few different small news sources talk about this, then the mainstream media will squash it. Because they want everyone, this is Kali Maharaj's tools. Like we have in the Gaudiya line, we have our patrikas, our news sources. You know, we're sending out the message of Vaikuntha through books, through journals, through magazines, through Harikatha online now. But what is Kali Maharaj's news agencies? Oh, mainstream media. They're controlling all the news. So they won't let these things come out because, first of all, Kali was trying to cut off this leg of compassion, which is symptomized by being vegetarian specifically. Why? Krishna appears in the form of food grains, Lakshmi and Narayan, on the first day, Akshaya Tritiya. They appear as food grains and say, take these food grains, offer them in yajna, and take this to maintain your life. Food grains, fruits, and vegetables. So in the Bible it says that this word bromas meant food. They say, oh, Christ is eating meat. Christ is eating food. You don't know how to translate, then what is our fault? And there were Gospels before that talked about how he preached reincarnation, how he preached vegetarianism, but when they did the King James Bible, then they didn't include any of these. They thought, oh, these are going against Kali Maharaj's teachings. So externally they say, oh, love everyone. But don't love the animals. You can slaughter them. Gurudev said, okay, you want to eat meat, you have to eat meat. Prabhupada said, okay, if you have this nature, next life you'll become a tiger, or a snake, or another kind of violent meat-eating animal. God will give you that chance. This world is like a playground for your material desires. God will give you the chance, and one living entity will be causing harm to another living entity. But Gurudev said, okay, you should try to, if you have to eat meat, then if any animal has already died or something, then you take that. Why are you trying to take away their life and kill them like this? Nowadays, people are preaching, starting to waken up to this by the preaching of our acharyas. They're starting to wake up a little bit and realize how cruel they have been for so long. And they're saying the future, even many leaders of different religions are starting to say, yes, in the future we understand that people will stop eating meat if they continue.
Holland also.
In Holland, in Israel, there's some preachers, like vegan preachers, they preach very strongly about, this kind of compassion. So Kali Maharaj was cutting this one leg and then sowed cleanliness. So how is he destroying cleanliness? By giving so much intoxication. The government even subsidizes this. The government uses people's tax money. We can see how Kali Maharaj is influencing the governments. We can understand by what they use their tax money for. So the people, they force you to give tax. They take tax from the people like 30%, 40%. Now some people are saying you should take 70% tax. Socialists are saying, 70% tax. If anyone earns more than like $1 million, $2 million, then take 70% of their profits. This one, some people are speaking like this, especially like the new democratic socialists. So, what do they use that money for though? If they're using it for dharma, then good. Swami Prabhupada said, Grahasthas should give 50% of their earnings to religious purposes. Prabhupada said like this. So it's not like we're against giving this isn't like by force though. He's never tried to force anyone. We said you should try to give 50% to Krishna for temples, for prasad distribution, for printing books, for preaching. But what are the governments using the money for? You have to give us the tax, otherwise we'll take away your house, we'll take away your driver's license, we'll take away your car, we'll put you in prison. And what do they use the money for? Subsidizing meat industry, paying for abortion clinics. So is this not the activity of Kali? They said in the Bhagavatam described, you're doing abortion. What will be the result of doing abortion? You yourself, like you said, if you kill a cow, an innocent cow, then as many hairs on the body of that cow, you will have to suffer for that many lives. And you kill a baby in the womb, now they want to, in the US, they say, up to the point of birth, you should be able to kill the baby. Means when it's up to 8 months, 8.5 months, they were trying to pass this bill in the previous cycle, that we should be able to kill the late birth abortion, like late pregnancy abortion. And they stick pincers in there and crush his head, because they can't pull it out directly. They crush its head, pull it out, then rip off one limb at a time, crush it and pull it out. And they want the people to give their money to do this. You want to live like a demon, like Hiranyakashipu or Ravan. Okay, you want to be a demon, but don't take our money and use it in this sinful, abominable activity. They say, no, where are your tax dollars going to? They have all these different things, and they say this is women's rights. The women should have the right to kill her baby in the womb, even when it's 8.5 months old. When it's a fully formed, conscious human being. And they want to take your money for that, then why should you pay? Priti says, why do you pay taxes? What is the point? Better than you, instead of paying taxes, you open a non-profit trust and you give that all in service, in religious service. Because even now, Kali Maharaj hasn't completely won. This battle is still going on. And there are still like religious people also. And the government still allows like religious work, spiritual work. So if you have like, if you're satisfied with living simply, then even as grihastas you can have a trust. Like a foundation. My family had a foundation. Mount Kailash Foundation. And you put most of your money there, and then you use it for spiritual work, for religious purposes. And then you can even give yourself a salary from that as like, I'm doing work on the behalf of this organization, I need this a certain amount to maintain my basic necessities. But otherwise, 30-40% you're giving to the government, what are they doing with the money? If you give it to them and they're using it in these very sinful activities, then you'll have to get the karma for that as well. You want to taste that karma, you want to have to suffer for that karma. So the Bhagavatam says you kill these babies, these are the two things they're paying for. And, I mean, they're paying for so many things, but this is one of the things. And you'll have to become yourself a baby who is suffering from this. Again and again, not only one time. That's why karma is accumulative. It's like, you do such a sinful, harmful, violent, cruel activity to someone, then you'll have to receive that punishment yourself again and again and again until you realize. Then you can learn, because it said a foolish person, there's three kinds of people. An intelligent person is told something, this is very bad for you, don't do it. And they accept and don't do it. A mother tells a child, don't touch the fire, it'll burn your hand. Okay, an intelligent child will not touch the fire. Then, someone who's not so intelligent, you tell them not to do it, they still go and do it, and then they get burnt. But then they don't do it again. I got burnt, and it hurts so much, I won't do it again. But then, the very foolish person, they do it, they get burnt, and after a little while, they do it again. After a while, they do it again. After a while again, they do it again. So therefore, Krishna said, what can I do? They have to realize how much pain they're giving to others by experiencing this pain themselves. And then you can try to learn, don't do this to other people. So again and again, you have to suffer from this. And then you call out to Krishna, please, I'll stop this kind of activity. So this is how we can see Kali is trying to take over the whole world. And the Vaishnavas, they are the real warriors who are fighting against the effects of Kali. Through their, dharma anustan, through their spiritual activities. So Kali, satya, sos, doya, and tapa, and any kinds of austerity. So Parikshit Maharaj gave him these 4 places. And after that, he also gave him wealth, gold. He said, Dutam panam striyasunam yatra adharma achara. That wherever these 4 things are used for adharma, then you can reside there. Because Kali took shelter of Parikshit and said, now it's my time, anyhow, please don't kill me, I take shelter of you, please give me some place to stay. She said, Dutam, wherever they're gambling, Panam, wherever they're taking intoxications, Trinam, wherever they're illicit enjoyment with women, like brothels, prostitute centers, or adulterous people, wherever that is going on, wherever there's not like dharma, patni, wherever there's not like a religious marriage, then Kali will be there. Why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that I am sex life that is done only for the cultivation of or spiritual upbringing of children, the new generation. Krishna says, I am that kind of sex life. So that kind of sex life is not necessarily under Kali's influence. But are we all like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that we're able to have children only with Krishna consciousness? It's not so easy. So wherever that's not going on, then Kali can be present there. Strinam Sunam. And wherever there's violence, and he said, give me gold also. So he gave him gold. Because wherever gold is present, all these vices will come. Because they don't know how to use this gold or use this energy. Or if they're using it for a dharma, then Kali will be present. So we see Kali is pretty much present everywhere. So, therefore, what is the nature of Kali? Priti tells a short story, and this will be 5 minutes. So once there was a family in a village. There was 2 brothers. And they were very close friends, and they both got married. They both lived nearby each other, like neighbors. They both got their houses, lived nearby. And the elder brother, after some time, said, now I have to go and I want to do some work abroad because there's not a good opportunity for work here. I'll go and work, and with the money I get, we'll maintain our families. And he gave him like 10,000 coins of his own money for maintaining his wife, and he had just had a baby child. So he said, look, brother, if we both go, there'll be no one to look after our families, our wife. So I'll give you the money, and you take care of my wife and child, and I'll come back in a year or two or whatever. I'll try to come back soon. Because I need to go abroad. That time you have to walk and travel very far and find some good work and work very hard and then get some money and come back to maintain the family. So he said, look after my wife and child. So he gave all this money to them, to the brother, to keep in safekeeping. Because if he had just given it to his wife, then someone may come and pressure her and attack her and steal it away. So he said, you look after and protect her. So the nature of seeing this opportunity, Kali entered his mind. Why? He got this gold, and Kali entered his mind. His brother gave him this wealth, and because he had this sinful nature, a dharmic nature, then he started using this for adharma a little bit. Oh, Guru Vaishnava gave me this, and I'll just use a little bit for myself. 1% for myself, it's okay, who's going to know? But when you misuse this wealth, then Kali enters your mind. Because you give them that avenue, you open the road for him to enter. Because it said, Kali Mars lives where any of these activities are used for adharma. Yatva adharmachara. Wherever they're used for adharma. So you get this wealth. This brother got the wealth from his elder brother. And he thought, okay, I'll save this just for what he told me. He told me, here's the wealth, like Guru Vaishnavas give something. They're not giving it to you like for your tour and travel and make it like, okay, go and, use this to enjoy whatever you want. That's not why they're giving it to you. They give it to you for serving, and when they need it, they'll ask you. So he said, keep this money and give it to my wife for any necessities. You buy her groceries, if she has any medical needs, if she needs to repair the home, give her the money for that. But he started enjoying a little bit of it. And then she would ask for something, and he would become miserly. They start to think, this is mine now. Who knows when the brother will come back, if he will come back at all. You start using it a little bit for Kali, for sinful activities, and then Kali enters your mind, and then he is possessing your mind and making you his agent. And then you think, my desire, this is my desire, but really he is acting through you and making you completely fall down. So then his wife would ask for, the brother's wife said, please, now the rainy season has come, and the water is falling through our roof, and we need some money to repair the roof. He wouldn't give it. He said, no, I don't. It's not enough. If we need some emergency, then I'll give it. It's not enough now. Tolerate it. Then they ran out of food, and he said, he stopped giving money for the food. He just gave a little bit, rubbish stuff. After a while, he just told her, don't bug me anymore. He moved away with all this money to a distant place, and he said, hey, don't disturb me. He said, why are you disturbing me? You don't remember? This is just your imagination. And she would come again and again asking for this, and he would start bad-mouthing her to everyone. Look at this foolish lady. She's just, trying to steal from me everything. So finally she suffered so much, and her child, so they were malnourished, they were hungry, they didn't have anything to eat. Finally her child died. And then she went and complained in the village that, my brother, my husband's brother, was given all this money to take care of me, and he didn't take care of me, and now look what's happened, my son has died. So then they had a village meeting, a town meeting, and everyone came, and like in the village council they were discussing what to do. So she said like this, he didn't give me money, now my child's died. And then the brother and his wife, such people who are like this are very intelligent. That she hadn't been complaining so much to everyone, she started complaining a little bit, but friends, now a long time, 6-7 months, they've been planting the seeds of criticism of this person to her. For months and months they've been telling, this lady, her husband left and she's been enjoying with many other men. And I give her so much money and she just wastes it here and there in like sinful activities, in wealthy, in expensive things. I give her so much, whatever I give her, she's wasting. Even, she said, the brother gave me like 10, 15 coins and told me to take care of his family. He gave me nothing, and she's taking more and more and more and just wasting it. So I ran out, I don't even have ability to take care of my own family. They've been criticizing her and saying, she's now like a prostitute going here and there to so many men. And now, her own child has died because of her sins. And if you keep her in this village, then her bad nature will infect everyone, therefore we should kick her out. And they also started bribing people, and then people had taken their bribes, other leaders, and then this Kali had entered through that as well. That he was taking some of the money his brother had given to bribe the different elders or the different people who were in charge of the council. So they agreed, okay, let's kick out this lady, and so she had to leave the village, town, with her little dead son. And she went nearby, and there was a river nearby, and she was thinking, I'll just enter the river and give up my life with my son. Why my life is useless. So as she was coming by the bank of the river, at that time it was late at night, it was like midnight, and there was a storm, it was raining. And she saw like a rickety boat, a very small little boat, like we see a boat big enough for like one person. And there was an old man crouched over in the boat. And he was holding like a little lamp covered, and the lamp was flickering, it was about to go out. And on all sides it was dark, and the storm was falling down, lightning was striking, he was just going along, he was being drenched with the water. And she looked at him, and she had these, she had these eyes of desperation. Like what to do now? And she was about to give up her life. And she said, can you help me? He said, look, she was thinking maybe he can help me escape and I can come in the boat or something. He said, look, now it is not my time. He said, actually, who was he? He was Dharma. Puri tells the story. He was Dharma, or personified religion. He said, now it's Kali Yuga, so many, a few thousand years have passed now in Kali Yuga. And that he was Dharma, so he was in a very small boat. Why no one wants to follow Dharma? So he did. What's the need for a big boat? A huge boat with one person in it, and you won't be able to maintain it. And if no one follows Dharma, then how will you make a big boat? No one is giving anything for Dharma. So he was like this in a very small rickety boat and saying, I can't help you now. I'm very old and weak, and no one is supporting me, and I don't have any, facility. So if you want help, then you have to wait. In about half an hour, another boat's coming by. And on that boat, there's someone who can help you. Take shelter of that person, he'll help you. So she said, okay. So she was waiting. After about 20 minutes, she heard loud music, like we hear. Not like Sankirtan music, like Mridanga, Kartal, Conchals. Like rave music, Or we don't need to imitate it. But anyhow, this kind of tamasic music. So as this was coming along, then she saw many lights, flashing lights, This huge big boat was coming along. And as the boat came close, she saw many people dancing in the boat with this tamasic music, and people dancing. Prudy said, well, how are they dancing? Like naked dance, dancing and drinking, and enjoying with one another. She saw this, and she was a little bit okay, what to do? But then she saw, as it came close, it was passing by her, she saw one personality. Prudy said that's the personality of Kali. He was as the captain of the boat. Prudy described what he looks like, similar to the Bhagavatam description that Parikshit said Kali looks like. He was dark like coal, and very small backside, very big belly, 2-3 bowling balls in his belly, and very strange features and very red glaring eyes. It's described in Bhagavatam. What is the description of Kali? So then he came. He saw her, and he sent out. He came out to her and said, "Okay, you want to take shelter of me?" She said, "Okay, if you can help me." So he said, "This is what you have to do. You have to be my follower. I'll help you. I'll make you very successful. But you have to be my follower. You have to follow me always. Do what I say. Follow my path." But she was thinking, okay, he said, if you do, I can even bring your son back to life. Such is the power of Kali Maharaj. So he said, follow me. She said, okay, she was thinking maybe, I'll just try to see what he says, see if you can help me, and afterwards, if I follow or not, whatever, He said, if you sell your soul to the devil just once, and to get it back off the devil is not so easy. You think, oh, I sell my soul to the devil to get wealth, to become successful, and afterwards, I'll live a righteous life. But I need to sell my soul to the devil to become materially successful. So she thought, oh, let me get his help afterwards, I can do whatever I want. But once you make that bargain, once you make that deal with the devil, then you're finished. So she made that deal, and then he said, go back to the town and tell them that actually tell them the real truth was that your brother gave you before he said he gave you 10,000 coins. He said that your brother gave your brother 50,000 and he stole it all, and every day he would come and he would beat me, he would molest me, he would rape me, and he was always causing me so much pain and difficulty, and therefore this happened to me. you should flip the case. And go back and tell everyone that, because before you were telling the truth. But if you tell the truth in Kali Yuga, then Kali won't support you. If you speak a lie, that's why before the other party won, because they were supporting the truth, the falsehood, the lie. And she was defeated because she was in Kali's own place, and she was trying to speak the truth, therefore Kali would not support her. So he said, go back and speak a lie, falsehood. This is defeating the last leg in Kali Yuga. The last leg in Kali Yuga is Satya, truth. The 3 legs of compassion, Doya, Tapa, austerity, and Soch are finished. Cleanliness is finished. It's very difficult to follow these, but there's still a little bit like Dharma. Krishna was beating at the leg of truth, Satya, this last leg of Dharma. And it's very weak, and it's like it can fall over at any moment. So Kali said, you want to follow me? Already these 3 legs are gone, but you have to cut off this last leg. Cut off the leg of truth, speak falsehood. So that we should always be established, Satyam Bruyat, speak the truth. So then she went back and spoke all these lies, and then the villagers, immediately, instead they kicked out the brother and his wife. When they had to leave, they became outcasts. And then, very soon after, she became very successful. Everyone was supporting her, felt so much passion for her, gave her some money to start off again. And then it said, Purdy tells, at the end of the story, finally, what happened? She became a very famous, brothel matron. She started out becoming a prostitute herself. Her husband, anyhow, died abroad. And she became a very famous, from all directions people would come and give her so much money. Because why? You take a little wealth from Kali, then you have more and more greed, so she started accumulating more and more. How can I get that? Well, she was nice and attractive, so then we could become a prostitute. Then afterwards, with all this wealth, she made a big, hotel, brothel, and then she would become the matron there, and then destroyed many other girls' lives also. Not only her own life, she destroyed many other people's lives by making them like this. And then, this is how you are successful in Kali Yuga. You want to be materially successful by following Kali, then this is how you can do it. If you're serving Bhagavan Hari, then it said, Yasyanam anugrahami hariseta dhanam sahanai. If you're serving Sri Hari, then first Hari will take away everything you possess and see. If you still want to follow him, it said, Jaykari amar as tar hoy sarvanas. If you want to come to me, first I'll destroy everything you possess. Davinachari amar as. If you still don't want to give up following me, then I'll make you like an animal eating grass. Then he said, Tabunachari amar as. Still, if you don't give up desire to come to me, then Tabubanai dasir das. Then I'll make you the servant of my servant. So it's very difficult to approach Krishna like that, but Kali Maharaj, you just follow Kali Maharaj, everyone else is doing it, I'll do it also. And then you can become very successful. But if we want to become spiritually successful, then we have to follow Krishna and Guru and Vaishnavas. First, everything has to be taken away, because this is all anartha, this is all maya. But once we are cleansed and clean, then you can receive everything anew. That Swami Prabhupada said, I was afraid, I was thinking, should I take sannyas? Because Krishna says, I'll take everything away. So then afterwards he said, I'll give you everything. Prabhupada said, I see, before I gave up 2 or 3 children, 1 wife, and now I see how many children I have, how many temples I have. So Krishna, don't think, if you follow Krishna properly, first he will test you, you have to go through this kleshagni, Bhava Mahadavagni. You have to go through that, forest fire of struggle and suffering. Once you come out, then Shreya Kairava Chandri Kavitaramam. So don't be afraid, we should try not to follow Kali, we always try to follow Sri Krishna.